So, good day, ma'am. I'm Angelo, Bangalando, Section G sa CA200. So, muna akong report sa akong PPT sa Module 2. So, Sing Sing Prison History. It was designed to provide additional prison space and to replace Newgate Prison. Construction was undertaken in 1825 by convict laborer under the supervision of Elam Linds, warden of Auburn State Prison. He officially became head of the new prison when it opened in 1826, though it was not complete until 1828. Why is prison called Sing Sing? Sing Sing's name came from Indian phrase in Sin Sing. It means stone on stone. In 1901, 3 years after edition introduced the electric chair at Sing Sing, the town changed its name to Usining so people wouldn't confuse it with the jail. Where did this the term Sing Sing came from? So Sing Sing took in first inmate in 1828 when 150 convicts were shipped down in the Hudson River by barge from upstate Auburn prison. The name Sing Sing came from an Indian tribe named Saint Sing, meaning stone upon stone. The site was chosen because of the village's large marble quarry. Is Sing Sing's a rough prison? So it houses about 1,700 incarcerated people and is located about 30 miles north of New York City on the bank of the Hudson River. Sing Sing's almost 200 years history earned it the worldwide reputation as notorious prison, but it is unfair to recognize it only for those reasons. What is Sing Sing known for? Sing Sing prison was also the site of the infamous death house where 614 executions, including 8 women by electrocution, took place between 1891 and 1963. Is Sing Sing still an active prison? Believe it or not, Sing Sing Correctional Facilities is still operation to this day. It is currently a maximum security facilities for male inmate that is operated by the New York State Department of Corrections and Community Supervisions. It currently houses approximately 1,700 prisoners. So next, where did Sing Sing get its name? Plaisance near the Hudson River town of Sing Sing. Sing Sing's name come from the Indian phrase Saint Sings. It means stone on stone. In 1901, 3 years after edition introduced the electric chair at Sing Sing, the town changed its name to Usining so people wouldn't confuse it with the jail. Next, how many prisoners are in Sing Sing? So Sing Sing Correctional Facilities is a maximum security prison operated by New York State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision in Ossining, New York. It houses about 1,700 incarcerated people and is located about 330 miles north of New York City on the bank of the Hudson River. Next, Sing Sing Prisoner. So Sing Sing Correctional Facilities is a maximum security prison operated by the New York State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision in Ossining, New York. It houses about 1,700 incarcerated people and it's located about 30 miles north of New York City on the bank of the Hudson River. So, small ang Sing Sing Prison. So dako-dako ang Sing Sing prison. So next, the Sing Sing have an electric chair. So with the advent of the electric chair in 1891, Sing Sing became notorious for its execution. Although the electric chair was developed at neighboring Auburn, almost all executions within the state were carried out at Sing Sing until 1963. So the infamous death chair was later moved to Greenhaven Prison. Next, how many people died in Sing Sing electric chair? So a total of 614 men and women died in the electric chair in Sing Sing, and since 1914, all executions in New York State were done were done there. The last execution at Sing Sing prison occurred on August 15, 1963. Next, how many prisoners were executed at Sing Sing? So in total of 614 men and women, including 4 inmates under the federal death sentences, were executed by electric chair at Sing Sing until the abolition of the death penalty in 1972. After the series of escapes from death row, a new death houses was built in 1920 and began execution in 1922. Next, why is Sing Sing famous? Sing Sing, Sing Sing Prison, one of the country's most notable prison, has for 200 years leadership in the national prison system. From the adoption of system stressing separation from other prisoners to major reform movement. Next, Sing Sing prison cell. So to contract the 1825 cell block, the incarcerated excavated marble from the nearby marble quarry. The original building was 476 feet long and 44 feet wide and 4 tiers high, with a capacity of 800 cells. All built of Sing Sing marble. Each cell was 7 feet deep, 3 feet inches wide, and 6 feet 7 inches high. So next, is Sing Sing a maximum security prison? So Sing Sing, in full Sing Sing Correctional Facility, maximum security prison located in Osing, New York, in use since 1826. It is one of the oldest penal institutions in the United States. So next, mo ni ko anday itong kung nakuha nga picture sa Google. So sunod na pod is Auburn Prison History. So constructed in 1816 as Auburn Prison, it was the second state prison in New York after New York City Newgate 1797 to 1828, the site of the first execution by electric chair in 1890. And the namesake of the Auburn system, a correctional system, is which prisoner which housed in solitary confinement in large. Next, Auburn system, Auburn prison system. So Auburn system, penal method of 19th century, in which person worked during the day and were kept in solitary confinement at night. Would enforce silence at all time. The silence system involved during the 1820s at Auburn Prison in Auburn, Illinois, as an alternative and modification of Pennsylvania system of solitary confinement, which it gradually replaced in the United States. So next, later innovation at Auburn were the lockstep marching in single file, placing the right hand on the shoulder of the man ahead and facing toward the guard. The striped suit, 2-foot extension of the wall between cell, the special seating arrangement at mill, all designed to ensure strict silence. The Auburn and Pennsylvania system were both based on the belief that criminal habits were learned from the reinforced by the other criminals. So what are the characteristics of Auburn prison system? Auburn system penal method of the 19th century in which person worked during the day and were kept in solitary confinement at night with enforced silence all night. So what is the prison cell in the Auburn system? The Auburn system was a prison model consisting of small individual cells, large work area for group labor, and enforced silence. The New York State Prison at Auburn opened in 1819. The Auburn Prison Administrator developed a system that was almost the opposite of the use at the Eastern pen- penitentiary. Next. Why did the Auburn system become the dominant prison design? Why did? So the Auburn system was designed to to prevent the corruption of one prisoner by another. The goal was to totally isolate each prisoner while forcing him to work for the prison profit. Such a system which violated most basic human nature could not be maintained without extreme physical cruelty. So next, who introduced the Auburn system in New York? In 1831, two young French magistrates, Gustave de Beaumont and Alexis de Tocqueville, were dispatched by their government to study the new American prison system and report back on their possible application in France. Mao ni siya si Gustave de Beaumont. Gustave Auguste Bonin de la Buenare de Beaumont was a French magistrate, prison reformer, and travel companion to the famed philosopher and politician Alexis de Tocqueville. So, mo ni siya si Alexis Charles Henry Claire Comte de Tocqueville is colloquially known as Tocqueville, was a French aristocrat, diplomat, political scientist, political philosopher, and historian. He is best known for his work Democracy in America, an old regime, and the Revolution. So next, where is Auburn State Prison? Auburn is on New York. Auburn State Prison, located in Auburn, New York, opened in 1816. It established in disciplinary and administrative system based on silence, corporal punishment, and congregate group labor. So, how many people are in Auburn Prison? Auburn Correctional Facilities is located in Cuyahoga County, New York. It is the maximum security prison, houses adult male, and currently capacity of this facility is 1,821 offender. Inmate are houses of in 5 block A, B, C, D, and A. Who built Auburn Prison? William Britton. So currently, the head of all New York State correctional facilities are termed Superintendent William Britton. In 1821, 1816 to 1821, he was a master carpenter and builder of the prison. He became first warden. Next, so muna si William Britton. Brighton or Britain? Why is Auburn called Prison City? So constructed in 1816 as Auburn Prison, it was the second state prison in New York uh, after New York City 1797 to 1828. The site of the first execution by electric chair is in 1890, and the namesake of the Auburn system, a correctional system in which prisoners were housed in solitary confinement in large. So next, mo din ang prisuhan nila. So what is the Auburn system of imprisonment? So Auburn system penal method of 19th century in which person worked during the day and were kept in solitary confinement at night with enforced silence at all time. So where did Auburn model for the prison originate? Auburn State Prison is located in Newburgh, New York, opened in 1816. It established this disciplinary and administrative system based on silence, corporal punishment, and congregate group labor. In architecture and routine, Auburn became a model for prison throughout the United States. So next, what was the key to discipline in the Auburn prison system? So the Auburn system confined prisoner in individual cell at night but required they work together during the day. A key factor in the Auburn system was complete silence, strictly enforced with the threat of the whip. So next, what are the characteristics of Auburn prison? So small individual cell, large work area for group labor, and enforced silence. Next, Auburn prison is secure or not? So, Auburn Correctional Facility is a maximum security level facility for male. So, fans siya ni singarani. Uh, Secured guys siya. So, who created Auburn system? The system was introduced in 1902 but was given its basic form by Sir Alexander Patterson, who became prison commissioner in 1922. Each institution consists of houses containing ideally not more than 50 young offender with housemaster or housemistress and house staff. So next, mo rin is si Alexander Patterson. So sa Pennsylvania system. Pennsylvania system was an early prison system, uh, required system requiring inmate silence, individual cells, and inmate labor in those cells. Pennsylvania prison system history. So mo ang history. The Pennsylvania penal system originating in 1682 under the leadership of William Penn was the first state prison system to suggest the replacement of torture and mutilation as a punishment for crimes with hard labor in houses of corrections. Next, what was the main goal of the Pennsylvania system? So Pennsylvania system method based on the principle that solitary confinement foster penitence and encourage reformation. The idea was advocated by the Philadelphia Society for Alleviating the miseries of public prison, whose most active member were Quaker. What was the Pennsylvania system's separate system? So eventually, however, the separate system and its associated concept of solitary labor were abundant in Pennsylvania, and separate confinement at hard labor had become practically non-existent by the end of the Civil War in 1865. So next, what are the major feature of Pennsylvania system? So first, inmate silence. Second is individual cells. So the last is inmate labor in those cells. So how does Pennsylvania system work in the rehabilitation of criminals? So those convicted of small crime but bail, the more serious crime were punished by hard labor. The jail were replaced with workhouse where the incarcerated person worked most of the day and learned to trade to contribute to society when released. Free foods and rudimentary health care was provided. The Pennsylvania system is also called the revolutionary system of incarceration. The the Pennsylvania system or separate system originated and encouraged separation of inmates from one another as a form of rehabilitation. What is the Pennsylvania and Auburn system? So the Auburn and Pennsylvania system were both based on belief that criminal habit will learn from the reinforced by other criminals. See also Pennsylvania system. So next, mo ni ang mga picture. So who created Pennsylvania system? So si William Penn. The Pennsylvania penal system originated in 1862 under the leader of William Penn. Was the first state prison system to suggest the replacement of a torture and mutilation as punishment for crime with hard labor in houses of correction. Sorry. So si Penn William. This is Penn William. How did the Pennsylvania system affect prisoner? So prisoners were kept in solitary confinement in cells 16 feet high, nearly 12 feet long, and 7.5 feet wide, 4.9 by 3.7 by 2.3 meter. An exercise yard completely enclosed to prevent contact among prisoners was attached to each cell. Prisoner saw no one except institution officer and occasional visitor. So next, Pennsylvania located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. What is the largest prison in Pennsylvania? So maximum security opened on July 11, 2018, replacing the adjoining state correctional institution Great Greater Ford, which had been a Pennsylvania largest prison. So does Pennsylvania have private prison? So since 1998, the George W. Hill correctional facilities, the country's 1,800 bed jail in Thornton, has been privately run and is currently operated by the GEO Group, a Florida-based prison firm. It remained the only privately run country jail in Pennsylvania. What is the oldest prison in Pennsylvania? So further legislation the same year, 1790, transformed was Walnut Street Jail into the Walnut Street Prison. Pennsylvania's first state prison, the first state prison system implemented several innovative ideas in the management and rehabilitation of criminals, including an expanded and successful prison industry. Next, how many county jail are in Pennsylvania? The jail system. Pennsylvania has 33 jails in 67 country. So, next. How many inmates are in Pennsylvania? Since 1983, the prison custody population has increased 294% into 2018. So there were 46,449 people in the Pennsylvania prison system. How many people are on probation in Pennsylvania? About 1,700 1,000 100 178,000 people are on probation in Pennsylvania. Criminal justice reform advocate and a growing number of lawmakers say that number is too high. The system is unnecessarily expensive and punitive. Too many people are on probation for too long, making it exceedingly difficult for those trying for a fresh start. So, how many people are on parole in Pennsylvania? Pennsylvania has both the highest number of people on parole and the highest rate of parole supervision in the United States. Pennsylvania had over 1,000 112,000 people on parole in 2016. By comparison, Illinois, a state similar is in size, geographic density, had fewer than 30,000 people on parole. So, mao ni ang prisuhan. Different type of criminal uh, punishment. So, those who study type of crime and their punishment learn that five major type of criminal punishment have emerged: incapacitation, deterrence, retribution, rehabilitation, and last is restoration. So, this is incapacitation. Theories of punishment. Incapacitation refers to the act of making an individual incapable of committing a crime, historically by execution or banishment, and in more modern time by execution or lengthy period of incarceration. Next, what is incapacitation in criminal justice example? So, incapacitation prevent future crime by removing the dependent from a society. Example of incapacitation are incarceration, house arrest, or execution pursuant to the death penalty. So next, deterrence punishment. So deterrence in relation the criminal offending is the idea or theory that the threat of punishment will deter people from committing crime and reduce the probability and or level of offending in society. So retribution punishment. Retribution is probably the oldest justification of punishment and can be found in the theories offered by Kant and Hegel, broke on 2001. It is the fact that the individual has committed the wrongful act that justifies punishment, and that the punishment should be proportional to the wrong committed. So next, Rehabilitation punishment. The most recent formulated theory of punishment is that of rehabilitation. The idea that the purpose of punishment is to apply treatment and training to the offender so that he is made capable of returning to society and functioning as law-abiding member of the community. So next, restoration punishment. The mediation process by the including censure of the offender, his or her recognition of the full measure of harm he or she has caused, an apology and reparation. So this becomes restorative restorative punishment to the extent that something is imposed upon or required of the offender, and it is extended to be burdensome or painful. Next, punishment. A punishment is a facilities ex- imposed to somebody who is convicted of crime. A punishment could be, for example, time in prison or fine. So there is an important difference between criminal law and civil law. Next, six type of punishment. So death punishment, imprisonment for life, imprisonment, forfeiture of property, fine under IPC, solitary confinement. Can punishment stop crime? So increasing the severity of punishment does little of deter crime. Law and policies designed to deter crime by focusing mainly on increasing the severity of punishment are effectively partly because criminal non so let's continue. New uh, law and policies design are deter crime for focusing mainly on increasing the severity of punishment are in effect partly because criminals know little about the sanction from specific crime. So next, importance of punishment for crime. Incapacitation prevent crime by removing a dependent from society. Rehabilitation prevent crime by altering the dependent behavior. Retribution prevent crime by giving victim or society a feeling of avengement. Res- Restitution prevent crime by punishing the dependent financially. Next. Who is Cesare Beccaria? So Cesare Beccaria was an Italian criminologist, jurist, philosopher, economist, and politician who is widely considered one of the greatest thinkers of the age of enlightenment. Enlightenment. What was Cesare Beccaria known for? He is well remembered for his treatise on crime and punishment on 1764, which condemned torture and the death penalty, and was the founding work in the field of penology and the classical school of criminology. Beccaria is considered the father of modern criminal law and the father of criminal justice. Who is Cesare Beccaria in criminology? So Cesare was a criminologist and economist in early 1960s. Beccaria helped form of a society called the Academy of Peace, dedicated to economic political and administrative reform. So this is Cesare Beccaria. What is the theory of Cesare Beccaria? So theory, classificatory crime theory, especially according to Beccaria, is based on the assumption that people are free of will, those completely responsible for their own action, and that they also have the ability to rationally weigh up their abilities. So next, who is Cesare Lombroso? An Italian criminologist, Cesare Lombroso, 1835 to 1909, devised that now outmoded theory that criminality is determined by psy- by physiological physiological trait, uh, called the father of modern criminology. He concentrated attention of the study of the individual offender, born in Verona on November. Lombroso became known as the father of modern criminology. He was one of the first to study crime and criminal scientifically. Lombroso's theory of the born criminal dominated thinking about criminal behavior in the late 19th and early 20th century. Next, what are the major contribution of Cesare Lombroso to positivist criminology? Uh, Lombroso famous among criminologists, his positivist criminologist theory explained that some criminals were born that way and their criminal activities are a result of nature, while others become criminal due to their experience in life. William the Conqueror, the Conqueror. So, monarchs on England. William, usually known as William the Conqueror and sometimes William the Bastards, was the first Norman king of England, reigning from 1066 until his death 1087. So the a descendant of Rullo, he was Doc or Normandy from 1035 onward. Before he became the King of England, William was an mightiest noble from France as the Duke of Normandy, but he is best remembered by leading the Norman conquest of England in 1066, which changed the course of English history and earned him to the sobriquet William the Conqueror. So next, si Enrico Ferri. Enrico Ferri was the Italian criminologist, socialist, and student of Cesare Lombroso, the founder of the Italian School of Criminology. While Lombroso researched the purported physiological factor that motivated criminal, Ferri investigated social and economic aspects. What is the contribution of Enrico Pere in criminology? So Pere research led him postulating theories calling for crime prevention method to be the mainstay of law enforcement as opposed to punishment of criminals after their crime has taken place. What is the theory of Enrico Ferri? His disciple Enrico Per developed the theory of Silombroso and belonged to the criminal sociology school. He believed that the reason of crime is not completely determined by the individual biological genes, but the result of the combination of physiological genes, natural condition, and social environment. So Clifford Shaw. Clifford Shaw was an American sociologist and criminologist. He was a major figure in Chicago School of Sociology during the 1930s and 1940s, and is considered to be to be one of the most influential figure in American criminology. So that's all. Thank you.